Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to share this recipe with you today. It's definitely one of our family's favorites. I wanted to remind you to please hit that subscribe button as it's so helpful for me as I'm building my channel. Hello friends, today we're going to make a very requested recipe. We're going to make my homemade granola or cereal. So, it's a very simple recipe. I've been making this for a very long time and have adapted it over the years. First, we're going to melt a stick of butter. You can use any kind of fat, so you can use half a cup of olive oil, half a cup of butter. You can use coconut oil. You can use half butter and half coconut oil. It doesn't matter. You just need half a cup of fat. So while that's melting, I'm going to crack an egg and I'm just gonna keep the white. Just the white. This is a trick that I found probably 8 years ago when I was coming up with this recipe. And that's just gonna be my coffee. In a minute, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee and I'll have, yes, a raw egg yolk in my coffee. It's very nutritious, you can read about it. So you have an egg white in your bowl. It's gonna be a little hard to see, but it's in there. So you're just going to, it's very loud. I'm gonna put a splash of water. By a splash, I mean no more than a tablespoon. So you can see the egg white is whipped and foamy. No need to get out a stand mixer. It's just the one egg white, doesn't take. So now we're going to add our oats. This recipe calls for, so the basic recipe I'll tell you is 4 cups of oats, half a cup of fat, the one egg white, and then you can omit sugar altogether. It doesn't have to have sugar, but I do put half a cup of brown sugar and I will put honey. And if I do honey, I'll melt it in with the fat. So that's really all you need for the recipe. And then on top of the oats and the fat and the sweetener, if you choose to add it, you can add 2 cups of mix-ins. Butter melted and slightly cooled. It's still warm. But before we add the butter, we are going to, so we whipped the egg whites and now we've added in the oats and we're gonna add our mix-ins. So it's 4 cups of oats to 2 cups of mix-ins. So we're gonna add some sunflower seeds. These are organic sunflower seeds from Azure Standard. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I do not measure very often. Once you get comfortable cooking and learning in the kitchen, you can do that and know that your recipes will usually always still turn out. There's some things that you don't want to mess with as much, like with baking. You don't want to not measure certain ingredients, baking powder, baking soda, leaveners, things like that. But for the most part, once you learn your way around a kitchen, you can make things work. You can use substitutions. Say you don't have any nuts chopped, use all seeds. You have a nut allergy, omit nuts, use seeds. We're gonna add some shredded coconut. I often will double this recipe and make 8 cups of oats and 4 cups of mix-ins, but today I'm just gonna do a single recipe. This is pre-chopped, like it's cashew pieces I got from Azure Standard. And my original intention was to make cashew milk with them. And I did, but I didn't like it as much. So we're using it in granola. I had a huge 5-pound bag. It's actually over a year old and that's all that I have left of it. and I kept the extra in the freezer, and that keeps the oils in your nuts from going rancid. So if you have a big bag of nuts, keep only a few amount out and put the rest in the freezer, and it will preserve them. This is shredded coconut, also from Azure Standard. And it's just the rest of a bag that I had. I filled up my container, and that was what was left that didn't fit. So the important thing here is the ratio of oats, mix-ins, and fat, and then the egg white. So we're coating, all that we have in here was that whipped egg white, and we are just tossing this dry ingredients with the whipped egg white. That's gonna give the outside of your granola a super crunchy texture, and it's really hard to get without the egg white. Sometimes if I'm in a big hurry, I'll melt the fat, cover the oats and things, and dump it all in and bake it, and it's still really good, but that egg white really does, it's the trick. It makes a big difference. So you just want to coat that. You're not going to be able to see the egg white on here, obviously, because, you know, it was one little whipped egg white with all of this, but it is getting mixed in. So you just want to kind of scoop and mix. It's not even really going to look wet, but that's okay. You just want to mix it really well. And I think I'm going to add some slivered almonds. And these slivered almonds are just a big container. These are actually from Sam's. If you have little ones and you do want to use almonds, slivered almonds is the way to go, because when you chop them, they're still chunks and they're a choking hazard, but these slivered ones, they're such tiny pieces and they break in half so easy that I find my toddlers don't have any issues with these. So that's another thing I like about slivered almonds. All right, so we have all of that mixed. It still looks like a dry mixture. We are going to add our ½ cup of fat, whatever fat you choose. This is 1 stick of melted butter, okay? But I will use all coconut oil. It comes out just as crunchy. So you are going to mix that in to combine it. I am gonna add the sugar, so I'm gonna do ½ cup of sugar. So I'm gonna show you, I have my sugar here on the top, and I'm just gonna drizzle in a little bit of molasses, and that's brown sugar. And then I'm just gonna mix it in all together. So if you want, if you're using honey, I'm not today because I'm trying to hurry before the baby wakes up from his nap so that I could do this and not have to do a voiceover. So if I was using honey, I would mix it in with the butter or melted warm fat, and then I would pour it all in together. But it's not necessary. You can mix it in just by itself separately, but my house is pretty cold right now. It's like 70 degrees in here, and so my honey was pretty firm, and it would need to be melted down for me to mix it in. So, all right, I'm gonna add a little bit of almond extract. So sometimes I will use vanilla, sometimes I use almond, sometimes I use both. It just depends on the mood I'm in and the flavor I'm going for. A little pinch of salt. And then we're just gonna stir it. How super easy was that? If you want to add, so the way we will eat this later on is, my kids call it cereal, and we have cereal Sundays. And so if my husband's not coming to church with us, or if he's working, or if he is, I'll make his breakfast ahead of time. And the kids get to have cereal on Sundays. So with our raw milk, we will make a bowl of cereal with this granola, and they will either add raisins to make raisin cereal, or they will add, I will let them sometimes add dark chocolate chips, sometimes cranberries, anything that you want to add mixed in. We really love sliced bananas in our cereal. Frozen blueberries are good in your cereal. Freeze-dried fruit is better, but sometimes my kids want blueberries in their cereal and all we have is frozen or fresh, then they're happy to use that. So that's it. You just want to make sure it's all the way combined. And then you're going to pour it on a big sheet tray. And I line mine with parchment just to make it easier. So if you've ever made granola before, a lot of recipes will tell you to go in and stir your granola. And I'm here to tell you today, they're wrong. If you want your granola to all be single bits of pieces of your oats and your almonds and your nuts and everything you put in, then you stir that granola and it's gonna be piece by piece when you put it in whatever you have. If you want clumps of granola and chunk clusters, then do not stir this. We're gonna put it in a 300-degree oven and we're gonna spread it out pretty smooth. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat, and you are not gonna stir this. So, that is it. Okay, so that's it. Ready to go in the oven at 300 degrees for 45 minutes. Then you're gonna turn or until it's lightly brown. If it starts to get brown before that, then you'll wanna turn the oven off. Now it's important that you don't have too thick of a layer. This sheet pan here is about a 1/2 inch. You don't want it, the granola in the sheet pan is about a 1/2 inch tall. You don't want it any thicker than that because then the top will brown before the bottom does get crunchy. So you are gonna want to make sure that it's not too thick of a layer, but about 1/2 inch and no thicker. 300-degree oven for 45 minutes or until the top is golden. Then you're gonna turn the oven off and leave it in there until it cools. Now, if it's already browned when you turn your oven off, put it on the very bottom rack, not next to the heat source, and that way it won't over brown while it's continuing to cool. And we're gonna let it cool all the way in the oven. That is gonna give you the crunchiest granola.
All right, y'all, my granola is completely cool, so I'm just gonna break it up here and fill up my cereal storage container. This lasts at least 4 weeks in the pantry. It's not lasted longer than that for us because we eat it up so quick. We will eat this in yogurt as like a granola, yogurt parfait. We eat it as a bowl of cereal. Sometimes I will leave bigger chunks of this granola and dip it or drizzle with a dark chocolate and make like a granola bark for my kiddos, and they really love that. So we made this homemade cereal for pennies compared to what you would buy chemical laden highly processed cereal in the grocery stores from. This is a super nutritious cereal, and depending on what all you add to it, you can really bump up the protein. I often add hemp seeds, chia seeds, ground flax. All of those things really bump up the nutrition, the omegas, and makes it such a nutritious and nourishing meal for your family. Especially adding that raw milk, which is a great source of protein and nutrition as well. So my family really enjoys this, and I know yours will too. I hope this video has been inspirational and helpful, and I hope you guys try this recipe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, I pray your time here has been blessed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help me build my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, y'all.